Morning.
I'm pretty sure you all have heard batik before, or maybe you've seen one, or maybe you've worn one. So today I'm gonna explain very briefly how to understand batik process. But first, I'm gonna ask you, which one do you think is batik? Is this the one outside or the one inside?
The one
The one
outside.
outside?
Yes.
No? Okay. Batik is a wax-resistant dyeing technique that applied to a fabric that will preserve its original color. It's originated from Indonesia and it got acknowledged internationally. In fact, UNESCO on October 2nd, 2009 has inscribed batik on the representative list of the intangible cultural heritage of humanity. So that's why on October 2nd, we celebrate National Batik Day, and the government encouraged us to wear batik. Traditionally, there are two kinds of batik technique. The first one, thank you. The first one is batik tulis, and it used canting or this wooden tool over here to draw pattern from the wax on top of the fabric. And the second technique is what we call batik chop, which is practically using the chopper stamp to draw a pattern on top of the fabric, and the pattern is come from the wax. So to answer my question earlier, both of these are batik. So no one get a free, pen from me. Because the batik is not about the motif. When you see this is the batik motif, okay, but it's not about the motif, it's about the technique and it's about the process. So how do you create batik? Can you play the video, please? So from the video, that was a video that I made for my company because that's what we're working on to create batik for our customers. And from the video, you see some of the steps in creating a batik or the batik processes. So the first step always starts from the fabric. So you can pick your fabric. It could be cotton, linen, rayon, silk, or any natural fiber. And the most important thing that you need to do on this fabric is you need to wash them in a boiled or hot water. There are two purposes on this. First one is to remove the starch on the fabric. And the second one is to make sure that it's already shrunk. So it needs to be pre-shrunk before you can process to other steps. And the second step is to prepare the tools for the batik process that you want to do. Let's say I'm going to explain about batik chop or batik hand stamping because that's the video all about. So you need chanting or chop, in this case like the chopper block, the metal chopper block. You also need wax to be melted on the old stove. And you also need dye. It can be natural dye from plants. It could be from the root, from the leaf, or from the flower. Or it can also be a chemical dyes that are already available in the market. And then you also need water and tools for washing and drying. And last but not least, this is optional, but if you want the color to be locked in and not run out, you need to add like a chemical substance we call water glass. So the color of the fabric will not run when you wash them. Now, how do you create batik? Let's assume this black dress, right? There are three colors, black, orange, and red. So the first thing you need to do is to actually, when the base color is not white, like the original fabric, you need to dye the first color first. So let's say the first color is not black, but the first color is one of the smallest one. Let's say the orange. So the first thing you need to do is you need to dye the first color, the orange one. And then you need to cover it with the chalk or the wax. So cover the fabric with the first layer of wax, which means it's gonna preserve this orange color later on. And then, and then you go to the second one. So create the second layer of wax. So you dye this red color, and then you cover it again with the second layer of wax from the metal chopper stem. And then again, the process is repeated. The thing that you need to understand is batik process is really labor intensive, and you need 1 day to do one process. So for example, when you stamp, you need to have 1 day because you need to let the wax dry naturally. And then when you dye it, you also need 1 day because you need to hang them dry under the strong sun. Otherwise, the color will be different. So imagine if we repeated this step 3 times until you find the third color, you dye black. So you already spent 5 days just to create like one fabric in 3 colors. So once all the colors are there, you need to boil the fabric to remove all the waxes. And then whatever below the waxes will preserve its original color, its natural color. Then if needed, once you boil them, you add the water glass or the chemical substance to lock in the color so the color won't run out, sorry. So as you can see, that's why the price of handmade batik is quite expensive, because people who work on them, when they work on one project, they cannot take on another project, because otherwise then the current project might get lost in the process, because if they don't get the sunlight right or they don't get the temperature right, it will affect the result. So last but not least, remember that batik is not the motif, but it is the technique and the processes. And also understanding batik process can help us appreciate our cultural heritage and help us appreciate the price tag that comes with original batik. Thank you.